The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. It's Nikki Glaser Podcast. Welcome to the show. I am coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Noah is here. Anya is here. I'm in LA for a little bit. I'm shooting a reality show that people know and love tomorrow, an episode of that. I'm like going to guest star on it. I'll give you details when I can talk about it, but it's very fun. I'm kind of wondering, like, if I get hair and makeup done, it's $750 for a makeup person, $500 for a hair person. I'm not getting paid because I'm getting paid like maybe exactly that to do the show. Do I just wing it and do it myself? Because I think I can. But it's like a Netflix show, a Netflix reality show. Everyone on the show is really pretty and looks like so beautiful. So part of me is like, I should have it professionally done. But I also,
because I have access to your calendar and I know what show it is, I feel like there's a lot of makeup on it. And I like the way you do your makeup.
Wet and Wild makeup.
Paul's Drag Race.
Target, yeah.
Glitter.
It's not Drag Race. I couldn't, but it's a show. It's probably just as much. It's very glam.
Just treat yourself.
I should probably get someone. Treat myself. Okay. Treat the show, really, because I'm paying to do the show. Then this is what that is. But you know what? This is what you do in this biz. And it'll be fun. Yeah, I don't want to look like the ragamuffin of the group.
And it's fun, too. It's like, this is part of what's fun about being famous and rich, is you get to spend money on looking good.
But $750 for someone to do your makeup that washes off that night.
Yes, but you're on a reality show. I think this is your challenge for this year, is really leaning into accepting yourself. You know, your mantra, what is it? I love and accept myself.
I approve of myself.
I approve of myself.
That would be, I don't need to wear makeup on this show because I'm beautiful the way I am.
No, it's
so
I
it can go
approve
either
of
way.
myself spending money on a makeup artist.
Yeah, but it's tricky because I do think it's listen, they have to charge that much because these makeup artists have agents who take a big cut. Like, everyone's getting a piece. And my friend who does my makeup deserves that much money. But sometimes I like to get a little wet and wild and maybe and get into my own stuff. And I go, like, I did my makeup this weekend for this the rock show I did with Sammy Hagar, Alice Cooper, Rick Springfield, Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon.
Oh my God.
That is crazy.
Sam Moore, Michael McDonald,
Dude.
John Mayer, and Paula Abdul. But I did my makeup for that event, and I walked in, and some girl was like, "Oh my God, you look amazing!" Because I went to rehearsal and I looked like hell. And then I came back, and everyone's like, "Whoa, you clean up!" And all you have to do is put on a tiny dress and knee-high boots, and people go like, "Oh my God!" But this girl was like, "You did that?" She was like, "You're good." So my only problem is I still suffer with lashes. My lashes, like, because if the glue gets a little, like, if the lash pulls a little bit, like it lands on a way, it can pull. It's so strong, it can pull your eyelid to like look a little like more open than the other one.
Is that what you're going for? Oh, okay.
So sometimes, like, I that's not even funny because you're so on the money. I was doing it this weekend. I go, I should come up with a type of eyelid glue for if you want to make a part of your eyeball bigger to show more because people are always trying to show more eyeball or less eyeball. Like, it's all about. And makeup gives the illusion of, oh, I want makeup that makes my eyes look bigger. I want makeup that makes, like, eyeshadow always makes me look older, I feel. And so now I'm getting off the eyeshadow train. But it was such a big deal forever. Like, you can't not wear eyeshadow.
They should have just like a lash person that you can bring in, like a NASCAR where they just bring somebody in at the end
I might show up and go, I might just talk to my producer friend, who is the reason I'm doing this show, and say, can I just like borrow your lady's makeup girl for a touch up? Because that's what you do. You set the foundation and then you go for a touch up. And then when you get there, they really just do your whole face over. And like,
here's what you do pay for, though, because you do perfect professional makeup already, because you've been doing it for years. You know how to do it. Mm-hmm. Do a hair person. Just hire, because the hair is the tough
hair is
part.
the key part. You're right. You're not wrong.
Because you don't want to be like, oh my God, look at all my flyaways I had, and I
might
didn't
go to
realize
Dry
it.
Bar down the street because my hair is pretty simple to do. like I like a blowout. I like a soft curl. I do it myself, and it's not as good as when they do it, but like I feel like a dry bar person could do it instead of paying $500. No offense to Christina, who I love, who does my hair. I just don't feel like spending money when I'm not making any. I'm tired of it. Even though this weekend was amazing, it was a charity show. Like, and I got flown out and I got put up. Very nice things. It's been I need some passive income. Listen to me becoming like a greedy person. I'm like, I want to make money when I'm not doing anything. Like I look at my schedule and I go, unless I'm doing something, I'm not making money. And I want some of that PI that people got. I saw there in Vegas this weekend. I became obsessed with this pizza place called Pieology, where it's like Chipotle for pizza, and you like pick the toppings you want. And I was obsessed with it. I told Chris, I was like, I want to study marine biology. I want to go back to school. I want to work with putting seaweed on pizza. Like it was really funny all weekend. Like I would just like slowly start walking over to Pieology, or we would be walking by it and I would just stop and stare at it and just go like, and like get like tears in my eyes. And we were joking all weekend and I was like, I want to open a franchise of Pieology. And he was like, that's a way to make some passive income. So
what's your favorite dish there? Just scraping stuff off the top?
No, I ate the whole thing because they like tell you how many calories and like what is inside the crust. So you pick a crust and you can pick like a gluten-free one, vegan, cauliflower, regular, but they give you like the countdown of like what you're going to get in a crust. And so as long as I know what's in a crust, I'm down to eat the crust, even though I love eating the toppings off of pizza and I will never not do that. And I think it's a totally normal way if you're avoiding carbs to do that.
What was your pizza order?
Extra sauce, artichokes, peppers, but they were putting too much. When you make a veggie pizza and you don't have a lot of cheese and like things can't be wet. So like roasted peppers are always in that gooey wet stuff. So if I trained at my Pieology, I would train them to like sieve out the water and make them drier. Yes. And then mushrooms, red peppers, which I found out in Australia, they call it capsicum. So red capsicum, which I love the word capsicum so much more than pepper. And then I would do and then spinach, tons of spinach, vegan cheese, and banana peppers. What else did I but I would add broccoli to our menu. I would add a cauliflower. I would add like more eggplant and stuff. But that was my order this weekend. It was so freaking good.
Cruciferous capsicums.
Yes, I don't want them to be cruciferous though. Is that the word? Cruciferous. I don't want them to be when. Well,
no,
when
cruciferous are just cauliflower and broccoli, right? Anything farty.
Oh, you want to talk about farty? I got fucking prescribed these. They're called Fontus.
Oh my god,
they are like dry mouth lozenges, and it looks like it says Fartus, but it's Fontus, Fontus, and they're for just like keeping your mouth wet and for like just sore throat. And they were recommended by Kristen Chenoweth on this blogger aid, the best singer ever, Kristen Chenoweth. She was like, I'm addicted to these. I do them all the time. And so I got them and I love them, but you cannot eat more than 4 and your body turns into like, when I used to chew a lot of gum and like sugar-free gum, I was toxic. My body was constantly dealing with some kind of like thing it had to get rid of because of fake sugar. And these have something fake in them because it's gasapalooza over here.
Something like what's going
it's
on?
Really yeah, but I guess like lysosine, maybe that's it. What's in these? Sorbitol. That's it. Sorbitol.
It's a fake sugar.
It's got to be because they're 10 calories a piece.
What makes
There's
them
no
so
sugar.
addictive? Do you think?
They just like taste really good. These are green apple. They just taste good, and they do make your mouth feel like we have Manuka honey, so they're like kind of honey feel like they're delicious.
Do they just make your mouth so wet?
They make it like slimy, not wet.
Okay.
So
Can
yes.
you put one in your puss?
Maybe. I mean, that's
Asking
a good idea.
for a friend.
Honestly, I'm so sick of having a
put a
pussy
gummy
that
worm
does
on?
not respond to my body when it needs to. I put a gummy worm in there. It's a well-documented story from picking up a boyfriend at the airport, and I knew he was going to finger me, so I put his favorite candy inside. It's hilarious. It's I love doing gross jokes. Like this weekend, there was we checked in the hotel in Vegas, and there was this like mural on the wall, like it's like a sexy mural of a girl with like almost like what are the garter belt kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And she's like sexy. It was just her torso. And but it was on the wall and it was kind of aggressive of like, some of these hotels you check into and they're like, you're going to fuck here. And if you don't, you're a fucking pussy. Like, you don't get this hotel room unless you're going to really like get into some shit. Because it was Vegas. So let me just show you what I did. So, and I just airdropped this to Chris when he was like, there was an upstairs to our hotel room. It was the nicest place at the MGM Grand. Where is this goddamn picture? Oh, here it is. Oh, I took 1 million of them.
Did we stay there once when you had that suite? And then
It looked
we
like I was
locked
going
ourselves
down
out?
on her.
Oh, my
So I just like
God.
started licking this wall and sent it to him. So it looked like I was like going down on this girl. Her door. I mean, literally, there's like 100 of these because I was trying to get the right angle. Look at now, I'm trying to like grab her tit. So I'm always doing like childish sex pranks and fun. All the time. I'm always just like, I'm gonna get your dick, like I'm gonna get it, and he'll be like, stop it. I'm like, I'm gonna get it, and I just like, I'm always like in the covers, I'll just like slowly sneak my hand and like a little snake that's going through, and then I'll just like grab it, not in a hurtful way, like I know how to not hurt him, but it's so fun. I like being a little pranky
Taken by
perv.
surprise.
Yeah.
Well, the
But this
third one
weekend-
back looked real.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I eventually got there with doing the selfie style. But the show this weekend was crazy. I mean, I just did 5 minutes of comedy. It was a event for Keep Memory Alive, which is to fight, pretty much, it's the one charity that finances the Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health at the Cleveland Clinic. And I met the guy that made this clinic, and he named it after his dad, Lou Ruvo, who died of Alzheimer's. Anyway, they did this huge benefit, and it's been going on 26 years. I think this is the 26th year. And they always have like a big concert, and in one night, in one room, they do a silent auction and they do a loud auction, I guess. And they raise like $30 million in a night with the people that are here. These are the most rich people in Las Vegas, and a lot of people fly in for it. They were auctioning off yacht trips around the world for like you and 20 of your friends. I'm like, who has 20 friends? I guess rich people probably have. There's like not a deficit of friends when you have that much money. Watches, tennis lessons with Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf. A dinner with Wolfgang Puck at his house with his wife, and then 7 of your friends, and with world-class entertainment during it. So he's going to have like someone perform during the, like all these crazy things to bid on. But before the auction was this dinner that was delicious. And I was seated at a table with Michael McDonald and his family, and then Sam Moore, who's like this blues soul legend. Yeah, legend. He was in a wheelchair. He's like in his 90s.
Wow.
He's like maybe his 80s, late 80s.
Yeah.
But he was and his daughter, and like it was just like cool. Michael McDonald is his Michael McDonald from the Doobie Brothers, who's he sings like this. And Chris and I are sitting next to this table, and then I do 5 minutes of comedy after the dinner. And I begged them to have like someone bring me up. So they had this guy come out for literally like 2 seconds to just be like, everyone quiet down. Okay, this next comedian. I'm like, what? And so I go out to kind of a rowdy room, and I had 5 minutes to like get them to shut up and listen. And it was great. And then I left the stage, and then I just went back to my table and got to enjoy the best show. So it was like, and then, I forgot to say, Chad Kroeger from Nickelback, who is amazing, who I met the day before, because I got into Vegas the day before and ran into him as soon. They brought me in this back way. I thought I was just going to go to like the lobby and like have to check in and all this stuff. They bring me this back way. They give me everything, and then they just lead me up. But Chad Kroeger was right there, and his girlfriend, who was like, oh my God, I love you. And she was like, I'm not a stalker. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice. And then I was like, oh, it's you. Hi. And then he's so nice, so cool, so funny. Loved him. And Alice Cooper was so freaking nice. I met him at the rehearsal because we all got at the end, we're singing Taking It to the Street together. And so at the rehearsal, I met him and Alice Cooper, who was really nice and was familiar with me and told me he has a sister named Nikki, but she spells it Nickie. And that was, I've never heard that spelling before, actually. So that was actually kind of interesting. And then Michael McDonald was high school friends with he's from St. Louis. He's high school friends with my voice teacher, Michael Rocchio.
How old is your voice teacher?
60 something.
Oh wow.
In his
Okay.
60s. Yeah, but he's pretty spry. I'm like kind of surprised he's that old. And he actually might be coming to see us in Bloomington this week. And so I'm excited for you to meet him. But yeah, I'm trying to think of other things. It was just.
What about meeting
How was-
Paula Abdul?
Yeah.
that was just on. It was weird. It was right before we walked on stage. And she was like, I love you. And she hugged me and was like, hugged me really hard. She was like, I just think you are so great. And I was like, oh my God, Paula. And then we just like sang next to each other. And then it was time to go. But I didn't get any pictures with anyone. I kind of was just like not even thinking to do that. I knew that it would be well documented. So I wasn't like, I wish I would have maybe gotten more selfies with some of like the legends like Michael McDonald. And
What were you chatting with people about? Like, what was the dinner conversation like?
Well, I was sitting next to Michael McDonald's manager, Paul, I believe his name was, and that he was interesting because he was talking about all the musicians he manages, Emmylou Harris and this new guy out of Austin that he told me to look up for that I forget his name. Who else? Kings of Leon. Like he's a big deal and started out in the record business. So I just after watching that Geffen documentary, I'm kind of. I guess just I'm interested in how the music business works and how people and the Elvis movie. I know this is like, why wouldn't you be interested in before? There's something about it now that I'm like, I want to know how you got to managing musicians, like, and even listening to Rick, what's his name?
Springfield?
No, he's the producer.
Rick Rubin?
Rubin, Rick Rubin, who has no musical talent, talking about like his and how important he's been in music. Like, I think that it's interesting to get to talk to people who aren't singers or musicians at all and like what their impact and how they got into music. And then it was nice because he was like, well, when you're ready, I'm waiting for you. Like so now I have someone to like give my demos if I ever want to do that. Cause he was really nice and like really encouraging and, was cool. And they represent some comedians too. So he's savvy with comedy. He was really nice though. And yeah, it was just, and then, and it was nice because the night before I got into town, I look at the fucking, I'm just like on Instagram and they must have known where I was and where I was going because all of a sudden it was like Bill Maher at the MGM Grand and I'm like, I'm staying there. You're here. And so I text him. So I get to go to his show, which was awesome and really woke me up about some stuff. Like all this weekend I've been having like kind of Bill Maher-ish. Like I've been like anti-woke all weekend and I've been like, just more like fuck PC and like just say what's true. Like I need guys that are so far out like that to sometimes jolt me into the right way of thinking. Like this weekend, I just like, I don't know. I've had no tolerance for people's feelings, which I do love feelings but I do hate this new thing of like, which is not the new thing. We've all called it out, but having your personality is being offended about something. It's just, I don't care if I hurt those people's feelings. I used to say I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't care if I hurt your feelings because your feelings aren't hurt. That's not what's going on there. And I think I had that misconstrued with like, well, you might not agree with their feelings being hurt and they might, and I do have empathy for them because if you have nothing else going on for you except to get offended at a vagina joke or whatever the fuck, your life must be like so sad. And that I do feel bad for you. And I don't mean to like make your life worse, but I think I make your life better because you're getting excited about how much you hate something. So I actually think I'm contributing. So this weekend though, right after, like my show was great. My 5-minute set, like, which is not ideal to do that little of time in a cold room. It went amazing. And
what did you
amazingly.
talk about?
I did. It was so funny. I was just telling Matt because we did an interview and me and Matt just did an interview for Spin together and he was talking to me about stuff. And I was like, I wrote to Anya this weekend to remind me of like what bits to do for this set I had because she watches my show like every night and so does Matt. And she's sent me this list. It was like pedophiles, crowd interaction involving wheelchairs. And I'm like, this is a set that's 5 minutes and it's cold. Most people probably don't know comedy is even happening in this room. She's like, the story about John Benet Ramsey murder. I'm like, I can't. It was so cute. I loved the list coming in because it made me realize how able I am to do so many of my jokes like in that amount of time, which is fine and is the way it should be. But I just stuck to like I pretty much was like, we ate this delicious vegan starter, which were these like beet cakes it was the people who do Crossroads in LA. It's one of my favorite vegan restaurants.
yes.
And there's this beet cake that was so good. And so I go, we had just eaten dinner and I'm walking on stage and I go, how good were those damn beet cakes? I was like, if you ate the beet cake tomorrow, tonight or tomorrow, your pee is going to be pink or reddish. You're not dying. You ate beets. People, because it was in the dark and it was valuable to know because everyone in that room was old.
Yes.
Everyone
And
there
you
is
think
like
your
worried about
poop has
prostate
blood in
cancer.
it.
It's not. Yes. Yeah. And then who gave me the tag? Kevin Nealon, who I saw later on, gave me the tag of like, and you should have said, and if your shit is diarrhea, it's because you ate the and then just say something else like about some gross part of the food. It's because you ate and then make fun of something. So I wish I would have done that, but I started out that way. So I called out something that everyone had experienced to the room, and then
Was he there too?
Kevin was there. Kevin was working at the Bill was at the theater there. I was at the MGM Grand, which is where they have boxing matches and UFC fights, and Joe Rogan sells it out. It's like I was backstage. It's like Billy Joel, Paul McCartney, it was
my
so
God.
but they had it closed off. Like it was a fourth of it
Right.
reused, but it was this huge stage. It was so cool. And so yeah, Bill Maher was at the MGM Grand. Inside the MGM Grand is the Brad Garrett Comedy Club. Kevin Nealon was there. So I went to see Bill Maher that night, hung out with Bill backstage. I fucking love Bill so much. I love him so much. It was so fun. He's just he's so different than he is on his show. Like he's just a dear friend. I love him. Good hang. And then after that, they were going to the strip club. So then I was like, no, I'm too tired. And then, I was texting with Kevin and I was like, let's meet in this little lounge area. And we just sat down and him and Chris hung out, and then, got to hang out with Kevin a bunch and just talk about, Chris is producing this Sandler special. So we talked to him about all SNL stories. It was just so fun. And then the next night I had the big show, and then we had, lunch with Kevin. And then afterwards we also hung out with Kevin again. It was just a really good weekend of hangs with friends. But I want to tell you the hot take I have after doing this that was inspired, I think, by Bill Maher, and might be a little harsh, but I have a take on something in the news that I want to give, and you're going to hear it here first. So stay with us. We'll be right back. So did you guys see the Tiger Woods thing or hear about it?
A couple years ago?
No.
Was he singing
This week.
or something? What happened?
No, he got in trouble. He had to apologize already because over the weekend, I guess he hit a shot, and then a newer, young, promising golfer hit a shot, and it was before him or after him, but Tiger hit 10 yards further, okay, than this guy. And Tiger came up to him, and this was caught on camera. Tiger went up to shake his hand, and the guy puts out his hand, and Tiger puts a tampon in his hand to be did you see this?
I heard about it. I was so confused by it. Why did he put a tampon in there? What?
Okay, well, why do you think?
Because he's a little bitch. Oh, to dry his hand out? Because it was soggy?
Oh my God. Are we describing football? What's happening? To imply you hit a girl.
Yeah, that's what I said. Because he's a little bitch.
Yeah. Okay.
so
First of all,
stupid.
I saw it and I thought that's kind of funny. First of all, it's funny because Tiger had to find a tampon, keep it in his pocket all day. There's not tampons around.
Wait, so
every.
Take it
So
out
it
of
was
the
a
applicator.
premeditated tampon, meaning before the match,
Yes.
he knew he was going to hand this off.
Yes. He had to find a tampon, which is hilarious, and then he had to the act of the guy being Tiger Woods is this kid's hero. I'm guessing whoever he did it. I don't know the age difference, but Tiger is definitely one of the older golfers now. This guy is being approached by Tiger. He's playing against him, so he's probably used to it. But there's a little bit of Tiger's gonna shake my hand, yes, and then a tampon's in it. That's funny. Now everyone's upset because this is discouraging women. This is saying that women are oh my God, that's an insult to drive like a woman. Drive as in hit a ball, drive, right? Or drive a car like a woman. We're bad at that too. But how insulting. My take is that we do drive worse than men. Not drive cars. We cannot hit balls as far as men. If you look at the statistics, women are weaker golfers in terms of distance, okay? That's just the way it is. Let me just pull up this fact. The average distance for men who are on the PGA is to hit with a driver is 289 to 323 feet. The average distance for women in the LPGA is 246 to 258 feet. So the furthest we could possibly hit it on average is still 30 yards short of a man. So Tiger saying this guy hits like a girl, he doesn't hit like a girl. He actually hits better than a girl. Like he was wrong even in that girls would love to be able to hit 10 yards short of, or whatever, 10 feet. I don't even know what the measurement is. My point is, like, what's so bad? I know that it was negative connotation of like, it's bad to be a girl. Women are worse at sports than men. That's why people watch less women's sports. It's true. It's like the Bill Burr thing of like, if you love women's basketball so much, name one fucking team. Women, why aren't women watching it? It's just we are, so I don't get what this is discouraging women. How about look at the stats of how far you could drive if you work your hardest as a woman and know that it will never be as close to a man. Does that discourage women?
Right.
Like that? No, or
So
it does maybe.
I have a question for you, because when I first saw this Bill Burr special and I was like, I love this one part, and you were like, I hate that argument though. I want to hear what your argument then was.
That joke, I never hated that argument.
Well, you were like, it doesn't have weight what he's trying to prove, and I know other people that have said that too. So, do you remember what you meant at the time? Because you were like, because he says women watch the Kardashians, that's where they put their focus and energy, rather than.
I always loved this joke, but I don't remember ever hating this or disagreeing with this joke because it is true. I don't remember saying it doesn't have weight, but maybe I did.
Well, you were like, it's a fallacious argument. And other people have told me that too, that they're like, the premise is weak. That like, well, the reason women don't make as much in the WNBA is because you guys aren't buying tickets. It's like, that doesn't take into account the patriarchy, like the much bigger system that's flawed.
Right. But
I guess
this is why I like Bill Burr is because it's not about feelings. I get that women's feelings are hurt by being connotated with tampons equal girl equals bad at sports, but we are worse at sports than men. So you can't, that's why I like Bill Burr. You can have your feelings hurt by this all you want, but it's true. And I was talking to Matt about it just now, and I'm like, I think that's why I don't like sports, is because I was never going to be better than men. And I want to be able to compete against men at the same level.
So comedy levels it out.
Yeah, comedy, I can drive just as far as a man can. I mean, the world is stacked against me in a way that hinders it a little bit, because I do believe that women are socialized to be less funny than men. They are encouraged to be less funny. They're not the class clowns. They're, all of that. So I understand why people got upset about this. I'm not playing dumb like, oh, that he's implying girls are bad at sports, but they are compared to men. That's why we don't compete against them at the same level, because we would get smashed. So it's like, and let me argue this. There was all this thing of like, Tiger Woods he is the father of a daughter, which leave that fucking thing at, when people say as the father of a daughter, why don't you just care about women before you have a daughter? How about that? You shouldn't care more about women because you have a daughter. Shut up. You should just care about women. But everyone's so selfish that unless it's your thing, you don't care about it. So that's another argument. But also, he was doing this as a private joke. It was just one guy to another guy being like immature, college level frat humor, because that's where he stunted. He stopped socializing at the age of 7 and started, he's stunted. Of course he's going to make dumb jokes like this. I'm sure he laughs at the words boobies. I mean, I'm sure he still says boobies, Tiger Woods, because he wasn't socialized, because he grew up on a golf course where his dad was fucking, prostitutes on the green next to him. What I'm saying is that it was a private joke between two men. That was locker room talk type thing, which I'm not excusing that. Because Chris last night, I was giving him this argument. He goes, well, you're acting like it's like locker room talk. We should let it go. And he goes, that would be like the Trump locker room talk. And I go, Trump was bragging about grabbing a woman by the pussy without consent. That is different than palming a guy a tampon and implying that he hits like a girl. And Tiger wasn't wanting this to go. He wasn't doing a comedy special based upon me palming. He wasn't trying to get this out of the ether.
Yeah, it wasn't like in the press
women need to
conference.
know. It was, guess who did that? The fucking media. So if you want to blame anyone for making women feel like they can't get into golf because they'll be made fun of, blame the media for letting us know about this intimate moment that happened and writing all the think pieces about it and making him apologize. Like, he shouldn't apologize.
Did he apologize?
Yes, of course he did. This guy is scared to death of anything else that will do what he has. PTSD, I'm sure, from what happened to him originally. But this idea that men and women are equal at sports.
But it also goes to what you were saying earlier about not wanting to hurt anyone, like changing your perspective on, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, so I'm not going to say or do something. This wasn't intended for everyone. This was just between Tiger and this other guy.
And your feelings might get hurt. As a young girl who would want to play golf and someone applied,
but it wasn't
my
for the
period
girl.
just started this week and I'm like, oh my, I'm using tampons. And he made it seem like if you use tampons, you're a bad golfer. Like, maybe it would hurt my feelings and discourage me from golfing, but I don't think that many women are being discouraged this week from
or it would
pursuing
compel you
their
to show him like, hey, I could, be the best at my league or
but this
whatever.
He has to apologize now. And it's just so.
Do you think it's care?
I think the joke was even though
Yeah.
at first I was like, it's kind of funny, but just picturing him like getting a tampon is hilarious.
Where do you think he got it from?
Procuring one, I bet he asked his assistant to go get one, and I bet he just went to the women's restroom and had someone got a woman to go in the women's restroom and grab them, because I'm guessing at these country clubs they have tampons everywhere, in the dressing rooms are fully decked out, even though women weren't allowed there till 1986 or something, but and they're still working on getting black women able to go in, but we'll get there. No, I've always had a problem with and these people are everyone's just such a moralist and tiptoeing around people's feelings while they're consuming things that were made by children, in foreign countries where they watch porn. Everyone who's a goddamn moralist and pointing a finger, they're doing something corrupt. Everyone is a fucking hypocrite, including myself when I get hurt about things. I always find a way in which I'm doing the exact same thing and wanting to get away with it.
All the men that say, as the father of a daughter, that's the biggest red flag for a guy that's doing some creepy stuff.
I didn't know not to rape until I brought a life in this world that had a vagina. I didn't know that you shouldn't rape people, or that you should treat them with basic
7
respect.
wives.
Oh my God. Speaking of 7 wives, I just got into Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey.
Oh,
the Warren
God.
Jeffs documentary that was on Netflix.
Let's talk about it. I'm about to do my hair that like
those hairstyles.
This weekend.
That is oppressing women.
I know.
Those hairstyles took hours, and the men made them wear it like a.
What
if
are
you
the
haven't seen that,
hairstyles?
they all look like
It's like
trilobites. Yeah, in the back of them, they look like it's
like a strange wave. Once Nikki did it to imitate Taylor Swift's bangs. If you did that, Taylor Swift bang, but up, it's like a bouffant kind of.
like Amish, and then in the back it's these intricate braids, which would make them. They would have to work on their hair for hours a day, and it was always just to control women. You have to wear it like this. Now you have to wear long johns and this guy Warren Jeffs. I thought I knew about what happened down there in Texas when there was a raid. I kind of saw stuff, but it's way more interesting than you think and disturbing. And he's still in control. Spoiler alert.
Sad.
So it's really fucked up. Before Reddit dump, can we play the video? Because I've been thinking about getting a pet recently. I've am looking at dogs while I'm out here, test driving some, broken animals. I want an old dog that's small, that can travel, and that's just kind of I want a Marion pretty much, that just is easygoing and no one else wants them because they're kind of ugly looking and they're small and they can travel and I can help we can be together for their last years of their life. I'm looking for a senior, but it's a lot of ass, so I don't know if I'll find it. But
a lot of
animal asks.
Oh.
And I want a dog with a lot of ass, so it's corgi.
I mean,
or
they
bust.
do shit themselves a lot.
I know.
Let's think of Billy as a sex slave.
Yeah, they get old. that's what I gotta realize, like, I gotta be ready to take this dog to the doctor a lot. Like, I'm signing up for like a lot of work. And that stresses me out because even if I think about having kids, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get them to lessons and like sign them up for vaccines. And like, I don't even know, like that all stressed me out. I just would never be able to do it. I just know that I wouldn't be able to like get them, shuttle them to lessons and practices. And I don't want to deal with their schedule. So I have to really wrap my head around like either getting an assistant to do this with my dog or like because I want them to have the utmost care, obviously, in their senior year. So I just got to be ready for all that it entails. And I don't know if I am, but I also know that every day that I don't have a little dog in my life is a day that a dog is out there that could have love, that I'm not giving it love. And it's like, I'm wasting time.
That's so nice. You and my other best friend, China, you guys are both motivated by the same thing. China only adopts senior dogs. She's constantly like, we lost her. She's always weeping and grieving and always spending $6,000 at the vet, but she's saved so many dogs' lives.
Yes. The idea that a little dog that like his owner died or they were abandoned because the family moved or ran out of money, that like just spends their senior years as senior citizen dogs alone. It just breaks my heart. And I want a dog that's like, and senior dogs, they like move slower. They don't need as much exercise. They're kind of just like, they're down to be carried around all the time. And that's what I want.
They love Florida.
Yeah. And I go there a lot for shows.
Yeah. Sunglasses.
Okay. So, but I don't think I'm going to get a bird. And it's so funny because I was looking into getting a Quaker parrot because they're the cutest. They're a type of parrot that is really like
font and tight braids.
Yeah. Get a fundamentalist parrot.
They churn their own butter. They were persecuted for their religious beliefs in the early 1400s. I don't know what please don't, this is, we know nothing territory. But I wanted to get a Quaker parrot because there's just an easy, like if you want to get a parrot, like not a parakeet, cockatiel, and you want to ease up to like actual like parrot, a Quaker is what I've been told, a good option. There's lots of them in bird rescue that need homes. So I was about to get a Quaker parrot at one point a couple months ago, didn't do it. And I'm almost glad I didn't because a couple besties sent this video and it's so funny and it really discouraged me. But I don't want to discourage people who are interested in bird rescue. I just don't have the life to devote to this. So just watch this. It's so funny. Or listen.
One thing about me that is when I was 10, my mom said I could pick out any pet. And so I picked this bird without knowing that it would never die. Additionally, I realized that Quaker parrots were undomesticatable, which means they're vicious to everyone but me. And now illegal in the state of Colorado. Don't come for us. Anyway, if you're considering getting a bird, specifically a Quaker parrot, just don't. They're great. I'm going to have this bird my entire life. It's like my sibling, but they're terrible pets. Just get a fucking cat.
Just get a fucking cat, she says.
She's
and
awesome.
Notice she said they're like a sibling, not like a son. Like she's just like, I don't want a pet that feels like a sibling. I'll tell you that.
How long do these fuckers live?
Like 30 years. I think Quakers are just domestically like 30 years. And she seemed to be, when she was 10, she said she got the bird.
Yeah.
So
She's in
I don't
her
know. It's going to
30s?
be, yeah, she looked like in her 30s. So the parrot's got a little bit longer to go. No, my voice teacher had a Amazon parrot in like the 70s that he just, was moving and had this big cage, couldn't take care of it. His friend was like, I'll have him. And his friend, who he lost touch with, just got in touch with him on LinkedIn like 5 years ago. And he was like, Rodney is still alive. And then they put his voice on speakerphone and he was like, Rodney. And the bird was going crazy. And he was like, he's probably being like, where is that motherfucker? I'll find him. Because they want to kill you. Like a lot of birds, like they're not meant to be in cages. They're completely undomesticatable. Like we haven't gotten to that point yet. I think, budgies are a little bit more like chill being, domesticated, meaning owned by humans and told when to do slaves to humans. Is that what domesticated is essentially? Is that like a nice word for like animals who are slaves?
That's what I was going to ask is maybe you know the answer to this. Why are there parrot rescues? Like, why don't we just let them go?
because they don't know how to fend for
Survive.
themselves. Yeah. And the only reason parrot rescues exist are a parrot rescue would love to not exist. They would love to never have people buy parrots ever again. But they only exist because people are breeding parrots. And the same with breeding dogs. It's like, you don't need to breed anymore. We have enough dogs. Like,
So if you took all the parrots that are rescued and you took them, let's say, to Peru or wherever they're supposed to be, somewhere in the tropics, and someplace livable, would they not be able to survive there?
I don't think so. No, because that would be
predators.
obviously the solution. Yeah, they lived in cages for decades. These birds.
So
And I
we've
think that-
ruined yet another thing.
Yeah, and you know what? They're continuing to do it. There's a man right now somewhere in a rainforest stealing eggs out of a nest to sell on the black market. I mean, it happens all the time. You see those videos of people getting stopped at the border and they have a bunch of birds in their belt, like little birds that
my
are like
God.
rolled up in little paper towels,
What?
and they're like, oh yeah, it happens all the people are smuggling exotic animals all the time because rich people love to own things that they can't take care of. It's tragic. And yeah, so I'm not going to get a Quaker parrot anytime soon. But let's do Reddit dump and see what else we learned today.
This is your Reddit dump.
This is from me IRL, and it's a tweet that says, Imagine falling in love with someone just to find out they watch Netflix with subtitles. And then someone replied to that and said, I'm convinced people who don't like subtitles can't read fast. What are your thoughts on both of these things?
I don't have this discrimination because I just started using subtitles once in a while because I have trouble hearing stuff.
Yes.
Because of all the years blasting music. And so I don't mind them. I don't like it when I can hear, but also our system is weird because Matt has like these big speakers and there's like too much bass.
To
and I'm
echo,
like,
yeah.
so I'm just like, God, I can't stand my tooth. I chip my tooth and I just keep looking at it and I look like crazy.
What'd you chip it
person
on?
right now. A fucking mango. Yeah.
Like a mango slice, like a dried
Like
mango?
I was slicing it and I was thinking about how I have a dentist appointment on Tuesday and I was scraping the mango and all the
Weird.
strings were getting stuck in my teeth and then all of a sudden my tooth was gone.
Chip. Oh, well, good. You get it fixed tomorrow?
Tomorrow I've looked like it's weird how you look poor if you have a piece of your tooth missing.
You do.
Matt's kind
It's
of
like
into it.
having green bubbles on your iPhone.
I like when
Yes.
there's a gap, like in the
Yeah,
middle.
I feel like Madonna, a little Madonna. Or like,
It is.
I don't know.
But in the
someone
middle,
really-
yeah, you don't look poor. The gap in the as long as it's symmetrical.
on the
gap in the middle is
side. I'm like,
exotic.
I'm either Italian
You
and
look
cool.
exotic, like you're a British singer. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't mind subtitles so much. If I can hear, I prefer them gone so I can focus on the acting. But yeah, I don't have like anger about it.
I turn them off. Like last night, I was taking Chris through like my favorite Julia Louis-Dreyfus moments in like Seinfeld and Veep, and we were just like, he kind of like lets me just go through and be like, oh, and now this clip. Wait, hold on, she's so amazing in this. And I was noticing that the jokes were coming up before the dialogue or before her delivery, so it was bothering me. So I turned them. I flicker in and off. I am on and off, but I like a subtitle because I like to know I want to know everything. I don't want to miss anything.
And
I
Veep
stay
is one of those
focused.
shows where you
Yeah.
can miss a great joke because they're so fast, and then you can appreciate the
but
writing.
it can be ruined because so much comedy is 100% about surprise and not seeing it coming.
Yes.
And not 100%, but I would say 50% about it. So if you watch comedy things with subtitles, you're not having the true experience, I believe. So I would definitely take them off if you're someone who uses subtitles. I think you'll enjoy comedy things a lot more, and you don't even realize that you're having it ruined for you by seeing it. But I do believe that people can't read fast, and that is a thing that and it makes me, that slightly makes me feel superior because I feel like I'm a pretty fast reader, but I'm just fast at it's not because I'm smarter.
fast
It's just
at
because I'm fast
everything.
at everything.
Okay, so the person was mad at people that don't like subtitles because it means that they can't read fast.
No, he wasn't mad at them. He's just he's responding to this girl who's like, if you have imagine being in love with someone and then you find out they use subtitles. Like she was judging people who use subtitles, and he goes, my thought is anyone who doesn't like subtitles just can't read fast.
Okay,
and so he was just
Dissing her.
getting back at her, dissing her. Okay, and this is another tweet from me IRL, which means me in real life. Why do people insist on surviving the apocalypse when you can just die. And I relate to that so much. I was talking to Chris last night about The Last of Us. We watched the new episode and I was like, so, you know, if this is a spoiler alert for the first episode, but like this guy is like very affected by his daughter's death. He didn't save his daughter in the first episode. Okay. And that's like the whole series is like his struggling with that. And I made the point last night to Chris that if I were him, I would kind of be glad my daughter didn't survive past that first day because life became hell.
Horrible.
Hell. Fedra took over. They had to live in QZ camps. Like, it was bad life. So, like, in a way, it was good she died. I would have been like, Dad, thank you.
I know. I don't have to eat canned
And first of all,
chili.
I died from someone shooting me as opposed to, like, a weird mushroom man chewing on my neck. Like, this is way better. So, I'm like, I feel like his daughter, they should have had his daughter killed in the beginning by a mushroom man. Mm-hmm. Because that would have been a more disturbing thing for him to recover from. Even though losing your daughter is sad enough and I shouldn't make it worse. But I'm obsessed with the show. Obsessed with the show. Love, love, love everything about it. I am so into their relationship. This will they, won't they? I'm just kidding. This like,
oh my God.
But I mean, she did like drink alcohol the other night. And I'm like, something's going to happen. She's 14. So, but she's 19 in real life. She's wearing a million sports bras, which you can see sometimes in scenes. Like you can see the outline of the top of the sports bra in her shirt, especially when she's getting her haircut in the last episode. Yes, she's so Hillary swanking it. Yeah, because she's trying to be 14. Like, so like if you layer enough sports bras, it will be flat. But she's wearing a ton of sports bras, but she is incredible. And just, I feel like I wish I would have had a influence like that. I think Harriet the Spy was the closest thing I got to like that kind of precocious. I'm not stunning, like I'm not like a stunning little child actor like John Benet, gorgeous, cool, scrappy, funny, loves comedy, kind of likes boys stuff, like a good influence for young women. So I just love the show, and he is so fucking hot. I can't. It feels thankfully Chris is on board with how hot he is, and I'm not like swooning like Theo James levels of like, I gotta be alone for this, but he is the guy Joel in this, Pedro Pascal,
yeah. He's hot.
He's hot. He's such a good actor. Everyone in the show is a good actor, but just his love for this girl. But I like that it's not like I'm not compelled by like a romance. There's no romance in this that's like getting me on board. It's just such a good show, and I think people should get into it. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is kind of a long one, but it's good. So this one was from Made Me Smile, and I'll paraphrase it. This is the subreddit Made Me Smile. Also, at the end, I want to go over my subreddits because people have been asking me. I just joined Reddit, and I want to know what subreddits joined, so I'll give some people some at the end. But Made Me Smile is a good one. This said, Curb Your Enthusiasm director Robert B. Weide, Weide, obituary for his wife. Okay, so he says, Linda Weide, my remarkable wife, believed everybody's age was nobody's business. Let's just say she was ageless and timeless. She had a kind of elegance from another era. She started acting, She did all this stuff. Her bravery and dignity in the face of this illness were awe-inspiring, but unfortunately the house always wins. She died on Christmas Day, 2022, peacefully at home and in my arms. If you must die, try to do it in the arms of someone who loves you. It helps. And then he goes into her like education. She lived for a time in Boston, then Manhattan. And in 1989, she moved to Los Angeles. Thank God for the last move, because on September 30th, 1994, I walked into Cafe Aroma in Studio City, which I know. Oh my God, and there she was. She had it all: beauty, style, grace, intelligence, wit, and a great laugh, a blinding smile. And can I say this in 2023? Legs that demanded to be shown off, and were. That night, I wrote in my journal, I think I may be in big trouble. We were married on July 11th, 98. She was remarkably low maintenance. We both appreciated the occasional meal in a fine restaurant and traveling abroad, but some years I'd ask what she wanted for her birthday, and she would answer a grilled cheese sandwich. Typical. She was generous to a fault, always putting others' needs before her own. Her softest spot was reserved for animals, especially those in need. All their animals were rescued, She donated to many charities. She understandably would become disenchanted with acting, but two memorable roles were that of Penelope in the 2001 stage revival of Kurt Vonnegut's Happy Birthday, Wanda, June, and then she played the role of Mindy Reiser in Curb Your Enthusiasm episode, The Terrorist Attack. And then he talks about Then this is the part. What a team we made. She was Gracie to my George. After we purchased side-by-side cemetery plots years ago, I asked her what she wanted her marker to say. She answered, "I'm with stupid." And then wrote in parentheses, "That request will not be honored." Oh dear. What am I ever supposed to do without her? They say nothing lasts forever, but they didn't know about my love for her. 28 years wasn't nearly long enough. Still, I may be just the luckiest SOB who ever lived. Rest well, Bunny. I hope we'll be together again. For those this is the part. For those who never knew her, I'm sorry for your loss. Aww. How good is that? For those who never knew her, I'm sorry for your loss, as opposed to like, it's like we got something. It's not our loss. We knew her. It's so sweet. That's beautiful. And like,
sweet.
If you just gotta have, that's what you need, is someone who thinks about you like that. Like, what a beautiful tribute. I loved it so much. Okay, that is a sad one.
God damn it.
Okay, this is a good one. I know you're crying.
Does your vagina hurt?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that's right. Vaginal wink. Thanks to the bestie that wrote in about that. I thought I was alone in my weird.
So what is it?
It's called a vaginal wink. The thing that I get, which is if anyone describes someone that I care about getting hurt or doing anything scary, or if I see
you have to care about them.
I don't have to. It can happen with almost anything, but it's only started happening
talks
in the
about
last,
like a paper cut they got or something like that.
Maybe like in the last 5 years, and then it just feels like I'm on a roller coaster really quick, but a bad feeling, almost like ugh.
Not good roller coaster.
Yeah.
One, you're not strapped. One of that, decapitated a kid in 2011 in Kansas City. That one is probably the worst. That was a water park ride. Oh my God. Yes.
What is everything bad happens in your
I have a treasury of morbid stories in my brain. Like
at
this
a water
weekend,
park?
The Murdoch murders. I think on the girls' chat, Taylor referenced the Murdoch murders. There's a new Netflix documentary coming up. I don't remember their last name. I should, but it is the grisliest crime ever, and I don't even want to watch the documentary because it's so sad. But look for that soon. Okay, here's right before we go to break. Me IRL tip for newlyweds. Listening, Anya?
Yep.
Send a wedding invite to every billionaire whose address you can find, because it's a 50-50 chance their assistants just send you a perfunctory gift without ever wondering who the hell you are.
How many billionaires do I know? Or I just send it to any blind.
And he's coming to the wedding already. We have a friend who's married to a billionaire.
He just gives me a grilled cheese sandwich.
Okay, we got to go to break. We'll come back with more after this. Yay. All right, we're back. A couple more Reddit things. This is from Life Hacks, and this one is so good. Okay. It says, after using and rinsing the plunger, which is like, the plunger. For some reason, the plunger sounded like what they call it, the Brits call it or something. The plunger, but that's what we call it. I don't know why I was like, which is what we call the poop sucker.
In England, plunger is probably like a shovel. Like, do you have a plunger?
Probably is something, yes. Do you have the water shovel? Okay. After using and rinsing the plunger, rest it under the seat to dry. Avoid dripping commode water. That's where they got me, commode. Avoid dripping toilet water on the floor. Okay, so look at what they're doing.
Interesting.
Wait.
So you take the toilet seat and you put the handle between the toilet seat and the porcelain itself, and then it hangs in there and drips dry. And then, because that is a disgusting thing when you use the brush or the plunger and you kind of like knock it around to like get it all off.
Disgust.
And then you just take a chance to like quickly move it to its little home.
Degust. What do you say? Degust.
Degout. We say dégoûté was disgusting in French, and we shortened it to dégoût. Me and my friends. It's très dégoût.
If I can, I'll run the plunger brush or whatever. It's not a plunger, it's a brush. We're talking about a plunger. I'll try to run it. Let me say it with my teeth right here.
Yeah, say it like that.
All right, so like if you're taking a big dump in the loo,
you look like a chimney sweep with that fucking tooth. That's so funny.
Or couldn't I be like
the side of your mouth like Cockney style? So it's
couldn't I be a lady in White Lotus, Italy?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the front desk lady.
Or like in Paris.
No, it does look. It can look chic depending on what accent you give it,
or what angle the camera looks at you.
But if you've taken like a big crap in the loo and you've got to get the toilet plunger or the brush out, I'll just ask me dad.
What do you guys do? Do you knock it off? Do you let it sit? What do you
run
do?
it under the bath, or I'll run it under the sink.
But even on its way from the toilet to the bath, there's a chance a droplet might fall.
If that happens, then I will. Oh, sometimes I'll take toilet paper under it to sort of like make sure it doesn't drip
cradle
everywhere.
it. Gotcha.
Today
in a
I
bag.
couldn't do it.
Put it in a bag?
Yeah, I put it in a bag because I don't want it to touch the floor.
And then from the bag, you put it like next, because it has a little case next to the, right? Like a little
that's
home.
the
It has,
brush.
like, a little,
The plunger I would put in a bag. The brush I just put back.
but then you put it, the bag like away in a closet or something?
She burns it.
Oh yeah, the plunger doesn't stay next to the brush is what goes in its little cubby.
Yeah.
God damn it. Can you think of anything grosser than drinking something out of that cubby? Like putting in some liquid and then drink. I'm sorry. Did that make your vagina wink?
No. If you
Okay,
said
this is
you jumped off a building or did a bungee jump, it would. I noticed that rich people never have toilet plungers around. Like you just don't see it. It's not in the back.
because
like
they
a toilet
have
plunger
people
is
who are
disgusting.
doing
They
it.
have the help put their hands into the toilet to grab
Yes.
things out.
Okay, I think that's all I have for my Reddits today. I need to save more, but I've just been saving a lot of it. Like I have a lot of stuff saved that is just, there's this one of this baby sloth being reunited with his mom, and I sent it to Noah, and I sent it to the girls chat too. It's so good and so sweet, and like I just hate all the noise that's happening around it. I don't think those two are gonna like survive long after this video is taken. Like I don't trust humans around these things. Like I'm like, stop revving your engines when there's like a baby, a traumatized baby and its mom next to each other. But you could see that video somewhere. I mean, just Google it. But yeah, we have a girls trip actually coming up that we're very excited about, and
Don't forget,
vacation.
Before you get into that, why don't you share your subreddits?
The Reddits. Okay, yes, that's a good point. Thank you, Noah, for keeping me on track. ADD today. Okay, if I were you, I would join Reddit and I would follow. Are you ready? Get out your pen and paper. Depending on what decade you grew up in, it's the 90s or 80s, like the 90 or 80s, 70s, whatever it is. I would say Age Like Milk is funny because those are things that like there was like people making bold statements and then the opposite happened. An example of that would be, it's like Andrew Tate saying this.
You're a man. If the police forensically analyze your life, you've done something wrong. It doesn't matter if you had a yard sale, if you didn't pay tax. Doesn't matter if you made a video.
Pretty much as Andrew Tate saying, if you're being investigated, you've done something wrong. And it aged like milk arrested. Because, yes. Okay. So then there's amateur room porn. That's just really nice rooms. Animals being bros. Animals being jerks. A normal day in Russia. And it will just have some video of some bizarre shit happening in Russia that you're just like, what the fuck? Like a dog, like a guy walking his dog and his bear down the street and no one's making a big deal of it. Like that's normal day in Russia. Ask women, ask Reddit. ATBGE, which is awful taste but great execution. So it's like design things that are like, oh my God, that's so tacky, but it like obviously a lot of work went into it. Then there's one, the Black people Twitter is always funny. It's not, I don't even know, there's not tweets about being black. It's just like funny black people's tweets. White people Twitter isn't that bad either. Ask women, AWW, be amazed. That just shows like crazy, amazing things. Better every loop. That'll be like a GIF that just goes on repeat. And like every time you watch it over and over, it gets better and funnier and weirder. And then people in the comments like argue like why it gets funnier. Like this, the idea that this repeats, it makes this video better. Like, and people are really like, get this video off. It doesn't get better every loop. Like people are very like staunch about what makes it. Books. Oh my God. I'm not even a voracious reader, but I get so many good recommendations on books because people are constantly asking questions like, what book would I like if I like this stuff? Or like what are the best books you've ever read in your life? It's a good place to start for things like that.
I finished Spare.
Oh, yay. And by Prince Harry.
I've finished Spare by Prince Harry, and I get it, what you're talking about. I cannot believe how much the royal family lied and threw him under the bus.
Yes.
Did not protect him. I can't believe all the stuff they went through. I mean, it's insane. He really exposes a lot of stuff, which I think the book was the only way he could get his true word out, because they would plagiarize documents that he made, supposed statements he never made.
Yeah.
And say that it was from him.
No, we don't know so much of what went on, and if you have like a cursory understanding and you think you know, you just don't know. And I think you just need to read that book to fully understand that they were victims. They didn't want any of this. They were trying to do good. Meghan Markle is not a little like conniving bad person. You all know my feelings, but I'm glad that you liked it, and thanks for reading it, Anya. Final thought. Listening to Spare, was it good to like? How was his audio version?
ASMR.
Really?
100, 10 out
He
of 10.
does have like such a soft voice.
Can
I say
Would
something?
you like fall asleep to it?
Just
Yeah.
really quick. So we were talking about captions before, and I wanted to let you know that I like captions because one, they keep me focused and paying attention, and two, I have to have captions because it's hard for me to understand British accents. So
you watch a lot of.
If you watch Slow
Interesting.
Horses, which is a great show, you absolutely have to have captions because there's so much weird slang you've never heard of. They're like plunger, 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 motor shovel.
It's constant.
or like
plunges.
the Welsh accent also is hard for me to understand.
Accents are hard. The one show that really paid off for me was Normal People. Remember that one? That one was really good. What other TV have you guys been watching that's been great? Anything we should rec?
I can't wait for the new Succession to come out. I was just thinking that was a
I gotta get back
subtitle
into that show.
Yeah.
I would rewatch that whole thing. I'd rewatch all of Veep. I've been watching Jason Sudeikis. What is it called? Shrinking.
That's not Sudeikis. That's, Siegel. Yes.
Yeah.
Have you watched? How many episodes are out now? Because I watched the first two. I know that there are more, but I got to get back into it because I did
think I've
like the
seen
first
4 so
two.
far.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. If you like Ted Lasso, you'll like it. It's the same. It's your friend.
It's the same. Bill Lawrence created it. It's the same vibe as Ted Lasso for sure. It's heartwarming. It's funny. It's funny though because that show and The Last of Us are about like someone who has like a daughter that they're trying to like win over and like protect, and like it's a lot. There's a lot of daughter stuff going on.
And there's a death looming, just like there's a death looming in that show.
Oh yes. I don't know about that part yet, but I'm guessing who it is. You can follow GIFs. You can follow Goodwill Finds. That's a good one. Goodwill _ Finds. It's really good.
Do you follow that for Julie?
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I send her things. She's like, "Oh, I've seen that before. Not a big deal." You can follow Codependency, Columbine Killers. Oh wait, don't do that. That's for me. Comedy Cemetery is like really lame like jokes that aunts and uncles are posting on Facebook, just like where comedy goes to die. It's like a little caption.
Yesterday we watched. Okay, so Avi and I, we've been going to this place called Bookman's, and they have a lot of like used old DVDs. So we've just been buying a bunch of stuff, and we bought the movie Freddy Got Fingered. And I remember like that movie being like the thing that everyone talked about, everyone quoted from it. And I watched it. I was like, this is so stupid. I just don't understand.
I never saw that.
No, I never saw it either. They changed it?
Freddy Got Fingered is with Tom Green. It's like, I don't know, from early 2000s, late 90s.
Yes.
And I just like watching it today. I was just like, this was comedy.
That was a really bad movie, I think, even then. And I think that it was maybe a cult classic and like people liked it for then. But that is the interesting thing about like movies like that, like things that you go back and you go, even Chris has been saying like in preparation for his Adam Sandler show, he's been watching a lot of SNL clips, and they have like a bunch of Australians on their team who are working on, or like a South African guy who didn't grow up with Sandler stuff. So he's trying to educate everyone who's working on this event. Like, this is who Sandler was. So they're going back and watching, you know what? We might as well put on this clip. Let's go for like watch SNL. And he told me, he's like, none of this is really hitting the way it did that I remember it did. It's all so long. He's like, and the things you remember as a kid being like, that was the best. It was like one line from that sketch, and the rest is like brutal.
We were so deprived of entertainment at the time.
Dude,
we're like,
yeah.
This is...
But it's like, but even now, I mean, I look back at my old stand-up and I'm like, that wouldn't, like, we have in some ways, I think the bar is so low. I mean, I saw a movie not too long ago that I wanted to walk out of the theater, but I couldn't because I didn't want to get canceled, because it was so comedically not giving me what I thought. Like, I was insulted. It was like what Fox would give you for comedy on, like, you know, it's like the Masked Singer levels of comedy, I thought. Like, this is just like family style. It was just not like, which is fine. And that has a place. Like, not everything needs to be like sharp cutting comedy, but I was just like, so sometimes I can be so disappointed, and then I go see Adam Sandler live and I'm like, okay, comedy is alive and well. Like, this is so fucking, like, nothing's funnier than this right now. But then also I've said it before, I just watching even Chris and I are watching Seinfeld's again. Seinfeld and Veep, like, Seinfeld holds up. Veep, how can you make a comedy and compare it to those two things and be okay with yourself if it doesn't even come close? People's confidence in making movies, people that make movies and they like, if they aren't as good, I understand being a novice at something and being like, it's not going to be as good as this, I'm trying, but people who confidently put out things that are going to be tried in a court of public opinion on the same level. That's why HBO, you can count on them. They're not fucking around on HBO. They're not letting in riffraff. They have taste. They have a level of that. You say what you want about all the streamers. HBO has a level of taste comedically, I believe, and just with their quality of shows. They're spending the money. They're taking wide swings, but it's always quality. And I just feel like, and even I, comedically take an easy way out when I could go, I don't do the hard work to get at the best joke, and I do a lesser version, but I don't know. I just, stuff doesn't hold up as much anymore because there is so much good stuff now to compare yourself to. Freddy Got Fingered doesn't stand a chance.
No. You know what other movie always gets
That's
quoted?
so funny. You tried to be nostalgic and it was just like, oh.
Maybe we should watch it just for kicks. What about Step Brothers? People are always like quoting Step Brothers.
That probably holds up. I gotta say,
I've tried watching it twice, and every time I'm like, this is not for me. I don't know why. I cannot. I want to get the joke so bad, but it just doesn't resonate.
You get the joke. They're just not making you laugh. You're not like, what's the joke there? I mean, the joke is that these two adult men are behaving like 7-year-olds.
Yeah, maybe it's the same thing with Superbad. When I saw that, I was like, I could easily I could leave this. I could
Interesting.
Walk out of this.
Yeah, I love those two that you just said, but people love Horrible Bosses. People love, and when I saw that movie, I was disgusted.
Is that Aniston and Sandler?
Yeah. No, that was Aniston, Charlie Day.
Yeah.
I mean, I would kill to be in that movie or be associated with it in any way. And I don't, no disrespect to the people who made it, but it was unwatched. It was insulting. Dinner with Schmucks, insulting. Too. But the thing is, if I made those movies probably started out fucking hilarious. The scripts were probably top tier. Jokes every second, but people are dumb and studios want to make money, and if you don't want to alienate, not everyone's going to watch Veep. It's too fast. It's too I don't want to say intellectual because I don't want to pat myself on the back, but if you want to make a lot of money, make things easy to consume. Slow.
Yeah. My mom cannot get through Veep. She says, slow down, please rewind. What did she say? It's like, forget it. This show is not for Russian moms that are 80.
Yeah. I mean, there's a time and a place. Whenever your parents have to come to my show, I'm always like, can they leave? Like, this isn't for them. Like,
obsessed. My dad still, just at lunch the other day, was like, man, Nikki Glaser is fucking genius, man.
Well, that's
her
really
mind
sweet.
He swears a lot whenever he's talking about you.
Oh, well, I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. Like, I think I have to get okay with that because someone this weekend was like, you were so great. One of the caterers or one of the waiters were like, oh my God, I love you so much. I'm such a big fan of blah, blah. And he goes, oh my God. The mayor and her husband walked out in disgust, like as soon as you got on stage. And I was like, my first joke was about like having a dry pussy. Like I think that was about it. And I'm like, no one has a drier pussy than that mayor. Like she was so triggered by that. And especially she's the fucking mayor of Las Vegas. She is it's a desert. It's hell there. I don't, there has to be some kind of like lotion bath that you can go and get on every corner there because I was so scaly when I was there. Lube was just like, nice try. Like it was
start that franchise. Make money while you're sleeping.
I think
Nikki
lotion bath. And you know, the eyebrow or eyelashes that pull up your eyelid and make you look like you just got some horrible news. All right, guys, thank you for listening to the show. We will be here for you tomorrow. Don't even think we won't. On tour this weekend in Bloomington, Indiana, Newport, Kentucky, and Lexington, Kentucky, all this weekend. So if you in the Cincinnati area, the Newport show is the one you're going to want to go to. You can get tickets at nikkiglaser.com. I'll see you out there. New merch. Anya's wearing it right now. Check it out on YouTube if you want to see my new merch shirt. I love that shirt so much. It looks like I'm having an orgasm, kind of, but I don't mind it. And we'll see Anya and her new smile tomorrow, I guess. Yeah, can't wait. We'll see that. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Don't be cut.
Cheerio.
Plunja. Ja plunja.